Hello and welcome to another edition of The People's Rose. I'm Jared.
I'm Brooke.
And we are a married couple, a happily married couple. And we are your hosts of The People's Rose. We are a reality TV reaction and recap podcast. It all came about because we love reality TV as a couple. We sit on the couch and we'll talk about it anyway. So here's our couch.
Yep.
Here's our podcast. You're our listeners. And we're ready to talk about reality TV. Lucky for you, there's so much to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
This week we have watched Big Brother, Bachelorette, the Claim to Fame finale, and the Love is Blind UK reunion.
Yes.
So we've just got so much to talk about. We've got so much to get into. And we're excited to do so. You ready?
Ready.
Any other introductions we're missing?
Nah.
We're going to end with the Claim to Fame finale. And we're going to start with the Bachelorette Fantasy Suite episode.
Ooh.
I say episode, it was actually 2 episodes.
Oh gosh.
Golly, this part of the season where they just slam everything into 2 nights a week.
It's just I know they do, but or like the 2 hours, and then inexplicably Big Brother was 2 hours on Wednesday,
and Claim to Fame was 2 hours.
Like, come on, peeps! I gotta sleep at some point. Right?
We are laboring preciously to provide all the reality.
But
content.
You know what?
What?
There are people doing more because I saw shout out to Corey Tyler. Who is doing Big Brother live feed recaps, and I saw her like vlog of her 24 hours watching the feeds.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We have to remind you that we are a pro Corey Tyler podcast.
Oh yeah.
We've made that very clear.
Throwback to the circle.
So, let's go ahead and continue on with The Bachelorette.
Okay.
It is the Fantasy Suite week. Jennifer is down. Jennifer. Very.
I don't even know if that's her real name.
Yeah, that was very formal of me. Sorry about that, Jen. Jen is down to 3 guys, or at the start of the this week. This week's episode was down to 3 guys, and she had a decision to make. Yep. She was going to spend a date with Devin, Jonathan, and Marcus to decide that decision. And overall thoughts before getting to the nitty gritty. What's your opinion of how this week went down?
I just think Jenn wants what she can't have.
Interesting.
Or what doesn't want her.
Okay, that's your diagnosis.
Yeah. Like, where is that coming from, Jenn? Come on.
So what makes you say that is my question.
Because she's in love with Marcus, and he's said time and time again he does not love her. And he doesn't even know if he can get there.
Yeah. She has shown a lot of feedback, and she's paid a lot of attention to Jonathan and Marcus, 2 guys who have audibly voiced they're being a little withholding, you know what I mean? And then Devin's over there begging for a little reciprocation, and it took him threatening to basically leave for her to even see that. Yeah. So I can see what you're saying with she being wanting what she can't have, I guess is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
And I don't know. She's like so concerned that it's not. She said several times like, I don't know how to have a healthy relationship. I've never had one, and I'm like, oh, so is that maybe why you like these guys who don't really like you? Yeah. Or aren't fully invested? And then when she was on the date with Devin, he was like, I'm ready. I love you. I want to go back home and start a life and start a family. And her face, we both were like, oh, she looks scared. Yeah, she was very much like, oh, okay, we're getting serious. Yeah, and I'm like, bro, that's the show. Yeah. Oh, man. It does. We are circling back to our initial prognosis, if you will, of Jenn, and that she was just here for a good time. Yeah, and I think she's not a long time. I think she's grown past the good time aspect of it, but it definitely felt like I don't know if this was she anticipated getting this far. Yeah, but emotionally. But what would that? How could you not on this show? Right. Yeah. Man. Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, we've all seen the episodes, hopefully. Jonathan
is who she ended up letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's come down to two guys with two different aspects of her love life.
Mm.
She's got the guy that she loves strongly and probably wants to be, who's not giving back. And the guy who's like showing her everything, giving her everything. And she's, I don't know, maybe she sees him as just a safe choice. Because I thought she liked Devin, you know?
I thought she liked Devin too. They've had chemistry from the beginning.
Right.
And he's been a front runner.
Right.
But it was like something must have changed, or maybe once I guess once he actually said I love you and she didn't say it back, then he was kind of like, oh whoa, like am I wrong, like is this not what I thought it was? Right. Because then she kind of did the same thing Marcus did to her, and she was like, well, I'm not there yet, but I'm trying to get there. They literally both said, Jenn said to Devin, I'm trying to get there.
Right.
Marcus said to Jenn, I'm trying to get there. Right. But I will say the one difference is that Marcus was like, I don't know if I can get there. And that's like pretty severe.
Yeah. Like,
but
I get it's not the real world, right? And that it's tough to ask somebody to be 100%. But I think about you a lot when I see these shows. And it's like, okay, would have been very scary, you know, meeting, you know, the love of your life on a show like this, and only having to decide if you're going to get engaged within, I think Bachelor is what, 2 months, however long it is. Yeah, but if it shouldn't be questions of if I could get there.
Yeah,
I would be like, oh yeah, I definitely can get there. In fact, I feel like I am now.
Yeah,
I just don't know if it's the right thing to get there this fast.
Yeah,
if we just need more time.
Right.
I could understand if that's what if he was coming from. For him to just be like, I don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see it, but I don't see it. That's how I feel like I would feel about the girl who I liked, but deep down knew wasn't the right girl.
Yeah, but I guess with Marcus, and then I want to go back to Devin because there's more to be said there. But I guess with Marcus, I'm not. I almost think she's still holding on because he's not just evicting himself or leaving.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why isn't he just why hasn't he let himself go yet?
Yeah, because I don't know. I almost am like, I think he thinks it would be disrespectful to walk out. You know what I mean? I think he's kind of hoping that she gets rid of him and he could just go, okay. You know what I mean?
That's disrespectful.
Right.
To pretend like you're more invested than you really are. And to go to the fantasy suites. We don't know what they did in there, but come on.
I don't think so. I don't think, well, I don't really know the guy, but it doesn't seem like it's nefarious. It just seems kind of like he's unsure and there's a little bit of cowardice. Not like he's a coward, but just a little bit he's scared to like make a heartbreaking decision like that.
That's true.
And he's hoping the other person does.
I think
you ever seen those sitcoms with a person like, oh, how do I break up with someone? And they're going to break up with them, and the other person does, and they have to pretend to be sad, but they're actually like, whew, well, that handled itself.
Yeah.
This is how I see it with Marcus. It's like he's hoping that she's like, well, if you can't make up your mind, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no. And he gets home and is like, ugh.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, and I'll let you get back to Devin, but Jonathan, when she sent him home and they had their little breakup thing, he was very like, he was like, after the fact, he was like, oh, now I realize that I did like you. Yeah. And it's like, well, you know, how convenient.
Too little too late, bro. But you're right, true. I see what you're saying. How convenient.
Yeah, so, and then he was like, I had the sob story of like, I always get in the way of myself. I'm like, yeah. Why did you let it happen if it was so strong, you know? So that's why I'm never convinced. I just don't think if you truly knew and felt that, all this stuff would get in the way.
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
So I'm interested. What are your thoughts on Devin? You said you wanted to get
back.
Well,
so they have their date, right? Mm-hmm. And then they, of course, go to the fantasy suite, which why in the world their fantasy suite was just a random hotel room.
Right.
It was the lamest of lame fantasy suites.
Right.
We've had windmills. We've had like yurts in the middle of the beach.
Right.
And they're just in a random hotel room?
I guess that's the best they had to offer. I
That
forget
was
where they're at. What
so,
location?
well, they're in Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah.
It just was odd. But anyway, besides that, he kind of started tripping after. He was like, I need to talk to Jesse. Talks to Jesse. He's like crying. He's basically like, I'm not getting the love back.
Yeah.
And so I just don't know if this is real and if I can continue this, basically.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I gotta go talk to Jenn, and this might be the end of us.
Yeah.
So he goes and talks to Jenn, and he's like, basically telling her all of that. And then she's like, I love you, you idiot. And I'm just like, okay, wait, whoa. How is this different from Sam in?
Right.
And how he did it?
Right.
And this was like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That you told him that you didn't love him, but you were trying to get there.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess maybe the fantasy suites with the others, but we don't know the order that they went in.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just was all icky to me. It was icky to me that he even went in there and almost like manipulated her to say it. But then it was like icky to me that she said it because it just was like she was being pressured, I felt like.
I hear you. And I felt the same way. We were saying the same stuff, but the more I thought about it, and I've had a week to think about it. We saw the episode came out Tuesday or Monday, whichever that part of it aired. It is a little like you need something. You know what I mean? Like, she hasn't said well, she did actually say I'm falling for you.
Yeah.
But what does that mean? So I don't know. I could feel you can feel it. You remember how Daisy said on her date with Joey, in her final 2 dates, she was like,
yeah, she knew. Yeah.
I know. So I actually think Devin was feeling that.
It could be true.
And because she said she likes Marcus, you know what I mean? I think if Marcus was as into her as Devin is into her, it would be over.
Yeah.
It would just be over.
Yeah.
So I think because Marcus hadn't expressed these things to her yet. Remember?
Yeah.
It's on this date.
True.
After the Devin date, if we don't really know the order, but I think what happens is he's like, okay, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I put on a brave face. I haven't asked you for ultimatums. And I think he thought, like, yeah, send me home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm almost reframing it and thinking, what if he was like, I'm just going to let her send me home and not do the heartbreak thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't feeling what. So I am curious. I do want to know ultimately why she just pulled the Sean thing and said, oh, I love you.
And maybe it is true. Maybe after her time with the other guys, she did realize she did. And, wanted to tell him. But it all just felt
messy.
Off.
You said messy?
Yeah. Well, I said icky, but.
Yeah, I think it's not clean cut.
No.
Some, and those can be boring seasons. Where sometimes you get to this one and you're like, it's obvious.
True.
No matter how they try to make the edit look like it could be either or, we know. You know what I mean? It hasn't been that. And that could just because Sean couldn't explain why he loved her. And then Marcus.
You keep calling him Sean.
What's his name?
You sent him you sent that in a text today too. Sam,
you're right. Sam couldn't explain why he loved her, and then Marcus, isn't feeling her.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if she's kind of in a place where it's like I was thinking like, oh, she's going to propose, but I don't know if that's the case. What if she just says, no, neither of these are ready to continue onward?
Maybe. Or maybe she just says, hey, we're not ready to get engaged, but let's just continue to date.
Right. We were so convinced that it was going to be like, she's proposing, but I'm not too certain. Neither of these relationships seem strong enough right now. So it'll be interesting. We see her in the preview, like knocking on her door.
Yeah.
Like she's going. They made it look like she was going back to get Devin, but he's still here. So does she go back to get Jonathan? They said Jonathan was going to
No,
Paradise.
I took that as final two. Instead of having them come to the ceremony, she went and just broke up with them before.
That's interesting. Didn't Jesse say no Bachelorette has ever ended this way?
Yeah.
So it's not something. I think we've seen Bachelorettes go and say like, oh.
Yeah, but she could do that. She could go and say, "Oh no, like this isn't right. Like you're not the one." And then she could have the person come and be like, "I don't think we should get engaged. Let's just be
together.
We're together."
I'm so interested, only because I don't have any idea. I mean, I have some ideas, but I don't have any strong like this is what's happening. Yeah. So okay. How would you like to go about the rest? I'm interested. I've seen online that the ladies online love Jonathan. I'm seeing people who are clamoring. Like Grant's a great guy, but why was it Jonathan named Bachelor?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too.
Here, I'll tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Let's think of the last few Bachelorette. Oh no, here's what they just had a short Bachelor.
Oh, who? Joey. Oh,
let's get some height back.
Joey's not that short.
Let's get some 6-footers.
Oh my gosh.
She don't want no puppy. She want a big. How does that TikTok sound go? I don't know. Well, you need that, anyways.
Okay.
So they want a tall Bachelorette. That's why they went with Grant.
Tall Bachelor.
Handsome. And I'm off the market, so you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but you see it in Jonathan? Do you think he's he's deserving of the love he's receiving?
Oh yeah, I think he's a great guy. I think he's very fun and cute and like a good time. I think that might hinder him though because again, he wasn't so serious.
Well, he was hard for me.
Or maybe he was hard. Maybe it was just hard for him to
show his personality.
No, just.
Well, for me, it was hard to pin him down because he came in butt naked night one.
Oh yeah.
And then he was just kind of carefree. Then they had a emotional connection. Then it was kind of like. Then we went through the one where I was like, do I trust this guy?
Yeah.
Because he said he got gaslighted.
I think
which I was a little doubting there. Then he had some stern altercations with Sam, the other Sam, where he was mad at him.
Not really, though.
It was a little bit.
He was just trying to help him.
Yeah, and then by the time that happened, I was like, okay, what's he saying with Jenn? He was like, I don't know if I like her. So I was like, I feel like for me, it was hard to pin him down on what he was.
I think what I was trying to say was he seemed maybe a little bit not against, but like commitment phobe. Like he didn't want to commit.
I don't know. I just
I
feel
think
like
he'll be great in Paradise.
Well, yeah, that's where he's going, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
They're not having Paradise this year. Why they are announcing next year's?
Sorry. I didn't realize I was gonna be so loud.
For people who are listening on the podcast, Brooke just cracked her neck.
No, it's a water bottle. Sorry.
So.
But yeah, no, that's a long way away. Summer 2025, that's a year away. He could be dating someone. He most definitely will be dating before then.
And this is the problem. This is where this is the issues they run into with Paradise.
Yeah.
Is that you're a girl. Okay, let's think about this. You get cast on Cam's season, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, Grant's season.
Mm-hmm.
You get out night 5.
Mm-hmm.
You get an idea from the producers. They're like, okay, kind of stay open because you're a contender for Paradise. So, like if you want to, you can go back to Tennessee and get a relationship or kind of, stay free. We want to cast you, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing I'm doing if I'm a girl who wants to get some airtime? I'm jumping in Jonathan's DMs. And this is what happens. They come in with the pre-established relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And so announcing that he's going to be on it or just holding it a year later, it's like, one, we're not going to care. We might, but that'll be 3 seasons from now.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Bachelor season. In between now and then, we're probably going to have another Bachelorette season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to have another Bachelor season.
Mm-hmm.
You hear what I'm saying? Like, it's like, are you really? Are we going to care about Jonathan then? That's 3 cast. But we'll probably be forced to, because someone will come in and they'll pretend like, oh, we talked a little in 2024.
Oh my gosh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know how excited I am about that. So we also had the tell-all this week, and I gotta be honest, and maybe we're the only ones. We are not jazzed about tell-alls.
No,
I
don't think anybody likes the tell-all.
Um,
If you like the tell-all, let us know.
So much
comment down below.
So much happens on social media now, or just in the press, or like we've just got so much more access. Back in the 2000s or the mid 2000s, you know, unless you were on the blogs heavy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't really know, and even still, you were counting on them getting in contact with all these people.
Yeah.
But this was your chance for them to come back and hash it all out.
Right.
Now, a lot of the times, the stuff's been hashed. You know what I mean? We've already heard from Sam's parents. You know what I mean? We know how that went. Yeah. So, I don't know.
And Sam's excuses for his behavior, like, I could have lived without that. It was exactly what I expected. Absolutely nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
It was not very cash money of Sam. He was not keeping the main thing. Yeah, it was, for me, it was, I mean, they addressed some stuff, but you've got your people who are auditioning to be on Paradise. Spencer came out guns a-blazing, and I wanted to be like, calm down, Spencer.
No, only because the guy called him out.
I know.
No, Noah was like, I was talking about you not being ready. I would have been like, excuse me? I would have done the same thing.
I hear you, but I feel like it's so fake.
You wouldn't have, I know.
Because I would have been like, okay, whatever. I'm like, I am not dating that girl anymore.
Yeah,
that TV show was like a year ago when we recorded that, and you're a clown. I would have just, that's probably what I was on. I'm like, you're a clown. That's funny, and just moved on. Even Noah's brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's his brother's
name?
No,
Aaron's brother.
Aaron's brother Noah was like, giving the book thing was a little much.
And then Aaron claims he didn't know that happened with his brother.
It's just the lamest thing I could ever think of.
That could be true, but then you were played by the producers. Like, come on, bro.
So, yeah, it's just so manufactured. And speaking of manufactured, we had this moment where Jenn confronts Sam, and it truly it was good. Like, she held the points. But for me, it's moments like that kind of almost feel a little rehearsed. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying the producers did anything, but I felt like I saw a tweet like she workshopped it with the group chat. You know, the girls got together, and she like turned and faced him, and it was like, okay. And then she launched into her monologue. And she got the claps. You know, of course, she addressed some of the dumb things and mistakes she made. And by no way, he deserved all this. By no way am but I'm saying he deserved more. Yeah. He deserved more than like a PR, you know what I'm saying? Crafted, perfectly worded. And if that's just how she goes about things, that's fun. I mean, that's fine. But I can think of Rachel and Peter K. And I think that was Krause. Yeah. And the raw, intense vulnerability. There was no scripting. Some of the things she's saying didn't make sense. It wasn't clean. Me
so uncomfortable.
But that was TV, appointment TV, not people reading off, you know what I mean, PR statements.
So here's the truth. I did not make it to that point.
You are a hardworking mother, a hardworking worker at your job as a counselor.
Thank you.
And as much as we love watching TV, you have to sleep sometimes.
I did not make it, but I did see a little tiny clip on social media. Is she still so mad at him because she feels like he like conned her, or like
I think at one point he was number one.
Okay.
And we have to think about it not like we have to think about it as like you got played by an ex.
Played, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And so you do want to it's like your time on national TV to tell off your ex.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is I wish, you think about it a little bit, but not the whole speech.
Yeah.
Go in there and let the adrenaline get pumping a little bit. Stumble over your words a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. How did he respond?
Yeah, I totally, I think I've done a good job of, atoning and of being accountable.
No, he did not.
Yeah, I did. To be honest, after he said, I think I've done a good job, I did cut him off because I just didn't care. He might make it to paradise. I don't know if he has enough counter fan base who are going to be like, we love you anyway.
Yeah.
He's not that kind of villain. I think he's more
That's
of like,
true.
just kind of like, ugh, kind of guy who will be on there. I think Noah's brother Aaron will be on there.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of guys that'll be on there. Well, again, it's a year from now, so who knows?
Oh, I saw they also said Hakeem was going to be on there.
I don't know. If that happened, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I was doing something. I know people are trying to get Mullet and Big Dude on the show. And I actually do think Big Dude.
I forgot about Mullet. Was he at the reunion?
I don't remember
or
seeing
at Mintel Law? I don't think he was either.
I don't remember seeing
Austin.
him. But we need a big dude on the beach. Get a big dude on. They don't want no puppies.
Listen,
from dog.
What he said, he's got lots of girlies in his DMs.
Yeah, they showed that. You were awake when they showed that? Mm-hmm. All the DMs he was receiving. And they were kind of tame. I was expecting a little raunchier.
They're not going to show the raunchy ones.
Yeah, well, they should have.
Oh, brother.
The depravity of these commenters.
Okay.
So yeah, it was another episode. I was about to say strong episode. I actually don't think so.
I don't either.
I do think after this season, I won't remember this drama.
Is next week the finale?
I believe
and
so.
is it just Monday?
Yeah, I think it's a Monday, Tuesday.
Okay, strap in.
Yeah. And it could both be. Well, it's always both 2 hours. Yeah. I kind of from the beginning, I didn't anticipate this being one of those super memorable seasons. Mm-hmm. These guys are not giving Tyler C. They're not giving Pilot Pete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're more just like, who is that guy on that one show? Now, who's to say Grant's Bachelor season could be super messy, super memorable, and because of that, we'll remember the cast he came from. Mm-hmm. But on this alone, I don't see it. Mm-hmm. So that is the Bachelorette. We were happy to talk about it, even if this season is giving. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Again, we watch a lot of the reality shows, including the ones on ABC, and the one that came to an end this week.
A shocking end.
Incredible end. Is Claim to Fame. Listen. Go ahead, Brooke. Go ahead.
No, I don't even know what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, it's the dumbest thing that Adam
It's so dumb.
I was in shock. I think, you got to give him his props, but not really. Because
Listen,
it's just one of
those things that you're kind of wait, how did this happen?
I just don't
Unless maybe we were being played by the producers the whole time.
No.
It was obvious that nobody liked Adam because they literally were saying it in the moments in their diary rooms.
Yeah.
They were literally saying it. And they were, and he would say things too that you were like, bro, what? And he had to write down Molly Ringwald. Yeah. There were things that it was okay, Adam is not getting it. Yeah, he doesn't know.
No, he's definitely not. He's not the most clever dude. And he was kind of insensitive. He was hard-headed.
Yeah.
He was rude.
Yeah.
He betrayed his team members.
Yeah.
He was a freeloader.
The best thing he did, though, was form that alliance at the beginning. Yes, Naomi was ejected from it once she realized.
Replaced it,
with Mackenzie, who had a crush on HUD. So of course she's gonna be right there, doing all she can for HUD.
It's really just, that's the best. You're right. That was his best game move. Deciding, I need to get two people on my side, so I don't have to play as hard.
Right.
And it worked until the end. They still should have won. They they should have targeted Adam.
Yes.
Because they didn't know who he was.
Why did they not target
instead of
him?
targeting each other, which was the dumbest thing they could have done.
The dumbest thing. It's the final challenge. They bring back all of the old people to help in the final challenge, okay? And half of them are like, I am not doing anything for Adam.
I mean, truly, they were not even not doing anything. That some were actively sabotaging.
Yeah, and for inexplicably, I can't even say the word. Mackenzie and Hud go for each other. It's like one of those things where you knock each other out. Right? And the first one gets knocked out, they're out, and then sorry. Excuse me. And then even some of the past players were like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
I thought we were getting Adam out. I thought we wanted Adam out.
Right.
And the thing is, Mackenzie was like, well, I think she did, in the end, she was like, I messed up. I should not have gone for Hud.
Right.
Because I just got hyper focused on trying to figure out who he was because I had no idea. And she was like, and I guess she thought, at least in her back pocket, she had Adam's clue. But she had Hud's clue too, right?
Yeah, it just wasn't smart.
It didn't make any sense. Why in the world would her and Hud not before it say, let's go target Adam? I almost think it was just this thing where it was like, it's going to be so easy to get him out. Just leave him. Don't mess with him.
Right, they said that, but it really wasn't because they didn't know who he was.
And then at the end, that's like exactly not what happened, or exactly what.
Well, what happened was they let him win, so he didn't have to. He had both their clues. They had both revealed both of their clues, basically, and then he had both their clues. He figured them out on his own.
Which I don't know how. I honestly think, okay, first of all, we got to give it to the guy because he did not give up. He literally cracked his head open in the challenge.
He didn't crack his head.
Yes, he did. He legitimately cracked his head open.
Hold on. Cracked his head open. He did not break any bones, his cranium. What he did is he got a gash on his head. That couldn't stop bleeding. So they put him in those old school. You ever see those pictures of the guy who's got bandages wrapping around his jaw and his head? He's
bawling his eyes out, and he's like, "I can't believe this is how I'm gonna go out. This is how I'm gonna lose."
Right.
And they're like, "Okay, well, we'll let you finish because you don't have any brain damage."
Yeah.
So he plays a game like that and wins. And so again, I gotta give him credit. He never gave up. He was a pretty fierce competitor.
Right.
And then at the cocktail party, when they were all talking about who each other were, I think that's when he found out who Mackenzie and Hud were. I think he either overheard people talking or he did have someone help him. Because there's no way.
Well, he was guessing Mackenzie was Chet Atkins, Brett Atkins, Clay Atkins, and then he was like Trace Atkins.
Yeah.
So that took him I don't know if it was a week. That took him a couple days.
Yeah.
He was the strongest country mind.
Yeah.
And then as for Mellencamp, who knows how long he knew about Mellencamp?
I mean, nobody knew.
Well, but once the poster came up, if you know John Mellencamp's songs, which it seemed like he didn't know, then you knew that was him.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone did, the younger generation, but he seemed to know.
Yeah.
So if they don't target each other, so one of them still gets the chance to win, and they're dating. Well, I don't know if they're dating, but they had a crush on each other. They could have split it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they just let that. They got
crazy.
Distracted. So yeah, like that's what got revealed. It was a 2-hour episode. So we saw that Shane was related to Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I really liked that the races. You couldn't tell racially or ethnically that he was a Marlon Brando relative. That's probably how he got there. Now, once you saw him, you're like, I can see Brando actually, but like you knew that they were related or whatever. I still don't. Did we ever get an explanation on the chicken necklace?
No, why didn't we get an explanation
Can
on
someone
that?
explain the chicken
And
necklace
wasn't
to
there
us?
fried chicken in the
Yeah.
in that one sniff and sniff game?
Yeah, I need to know. Maybe I don't know my Brando facts that well.
Yeah.
Regardless, Shane gets sent home, and this was by Mackenzie's choice. She chose to be the guesser and to get him out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I haven't thought too deeply about it. I think that was the right move.
Same.
Because if they had made Adam the guesser, he would have guessed her, and she would have gone home.
Yep.
And everyone's like, well, she should have kept Shane. I think Adam, as much as they were making it look like he didn't know, I think at that point, he did know it was Trace Atkins.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would have said Chet.
I think so too.
So she did the move that kept her in the game another day.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was pretty cool because she had to vote that and then break the tie.
Yeah.
Then all the people come back. It was cool to see the people come back. We've forgotten all about.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I've already forgotten her name. But Naomi came back and was still very Naomi.
Yeah. She did help Adam in that one.
She did afterwards.
At the end, yeah.
But that's only because he had an injury and was bleeding from his head.
True.
But prior to that, well, not prior to that, but during that, like, they get a chance to go over the clues. She was still very Naomi because she just knew that Sherry Curry was HUD's relative. And Mackenzie was like, no, I don't think so. He's like, okay, fine, go home. Or what'd she say?
Yeah, she's like, fine, go home. Or fine if you don't want to win. Yeah. Something. And it was just like, girl.
To just be dead wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of was her undoing because she had a good game plan, but she was a little too hard-headed.
I think so too.
Which was kind of what Adam had. You would have thought Adam would have got sent home or something like that.
You know what was interesting is with Adam and HUD in the end, they both gave them clues to the name, right? So like Melon, there were clues of Melon for Melon Camp. And then so we found out Adam was related to Michael Bolton. And then we realized, oh, that's what all the lightning bolts were.
Right.
Whenever it's like that, it feels so obvious.
Right. As soon as you know who it is, all the clues are so clear. But you know, that's just hindsight 2020.
I wish that we would have like a reunion where they would kind of go through and be like, these were all the clues for this person. These were all like on the clue board. I don't know if we need a
reunion, just like an info dump, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
Just like on the mole, the original mole, they would have like in the kind of final moments, they would tell you some of the clues that were in the season. I love
that. Yep.
So I wish like on these episodes when they revealed who the celeb was, they would do a montage.
Yeah.
Clue.
Yeah.
Clue. And we could do that. I think that would be cool and kind of solve that issue. But they kind of edit these shows pretty tight. These shows are an hour normally, but it feels like they're in and out. You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's no real bloat on them. But Claim to Fame is I think is one of my favorite shows.
It's so good.
It's in the rotation. Every season has gotten better and better and better and funnier. And even though this winter is abysmal. And crazy. I think a good show has a season where that's entertaining, that makes you go, what?
True. Very true.
It reminds me, and I didn't like this guy, but I hated his opponent. When Josh beat Paul.
Yeah.
And that is probably one of the worst Big Brother winners of all time.
Yep.
But it like kind of was a cherry on the top of such a chaotic season. This season of Claim to Fame will definitely be remembered as the Adam season because of all the craziness he gave us. Another thing about this show, I guess it's kind of unfortunate. As once you've been on the show and your celebrity is revealed, there's no like Claim to Fame All Stars.
No.
As good as these players have been.
That's true. It's a one chance thing.
And it's ABC, so ABC doesn't have a real strong network of competitive reality shows. So it's not like if they're on this, they can go on Big Brother or The Challenge or Survivor or Amazing Race. You're kind of in and out.
Dang, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Because some of these people I would like I think
Naomi, maybe get them on Traders.
Yeah. Oh, or some of these some of these auxiliary reality shows because they've had Bachelor people on Traders.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start looking through Claim to Fame people and try to get them on Traders.
I love it.
And start an online petition.
I love it.
You heard it here first. We are going to get Gabriel from he was the winner last season. He would do good on Traders. He was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of some other good people. There's a lot of good people that could be.
Naomi.
Naomi's a character.
Yeah.
She's probably better on villains.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she did enough to just be quite a villain.
Yeah.
But that was our crazy season of Claim to Fame. I enjoyed it. I hope it gets greenlit for another season.
Same.
And they're sharing a mansion with the Bachelorette now, so it'll keep the cost down, ABC.
Yeah. Keep it coming, ABC.
Keep it coming. We got anything else on Claim to Fame?
I think that's it.
Okay, well, Big Brother. Dun, 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 dun. Big Brother is our favorite reality TV show, and it's one of our favorites, probably the favorite. And this week, this eviction episode that happened just a few hours ago marked the end of an era.
The end of an
Big
era.
Brother 26. This show has been reigned by the comp beast that was Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
And the House, by a vote of 5-3, voted Tucker out of the Big Brother house. So yes, it's a new era.
Listen, it was time.
It was so time.
He was entertaining. I'll give you that. He made for good TV, but it just was time. The dude is a liability. He also, if you're not following the live feeds, and you probably don't even know, but he has his arrogance is not fun to watch. His arrogance is like, it's weird. He thinks he should be like, everyone should do what he says at all times because he wins, definitely. Or because he does this, or because he does that. Like, let's just get into it. So the veto this week, right, was one of those ones where, everyone gets some sort of gift. It's either a positive or negative reward, right?
Right.
So he took a punishment and gave T-Core the $5,000, right? So then Cam won the veto, of course, like any normal person does, took himself off the block.
Yeah.
And T-Core had to put someone up. And T-Core decided to put up Angela because Angela was threatening to, like, take down Tucker, basically.
Right.
And Tucker got so upset that T-Core put Angela up and didn't put up Leah, who he wanted her to put up.
Right.
And I'm talking got so upset that he then goes on this whole campaign about, well, I don't even want to be here anymore. Right. I'm not going to try in the BB arena. Right. I don't want to go to jury. I just want to go home and get my dog. But then it turned into this whole thing. Well, I don't even know if I'm going to get my dog because my ex-girlfriend has my dog and she's seeing me with Rubina, and so I don't even know if she's gonna let me get my dog. And it was kind of just like, Tucker, what? Yeah. Like, why are you, like, you have won so much, and then the one time that someone doesn't do what you want to do, you want to throw in the towel. Okay, but then the thing that really got me was he was like, I gave T-Core $5,000 in that game, and she won't even do what I'm asking her to do. Listen here, sir. Just because you gave her $5,000 does not mean she owes you anything. Yeah. She did not ask for that $5,000. You gave that to her on your own free will.
Yeah.
So I just can't stand that type of, like, manipulative behavior of, like, I did this for you, so now you need to do this for me.
Right.
No, if you're going to do something for someone, do it out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
And don't expect anything in return.
Yeah. It was,
Oh, sorry. I got real riled up
that's
about
awesome.
that.
No, I agree. Tucker, I just don't belabor myself with trying to get into his head because he's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember for the first few moments seeing him on the feeds, I was like, this guy's insane.
Yeah.
Like before all the antics, before all the tantrums, before all the shenanigans, just looking at him, I was like, and seeing how he interacted and just doing what he was doing, I'm like, this guy is not all. This guy is weird, man.
Yeah. Which that's okay. Like it's okay to be quirky and weird and just be you.
No, but
But like it was to a point where it was you weren't treating people nice.
yeah, it's yeah. So he a lot of these things he put himself in these positions, and so it's hard for me to care or be like it's just kind of black and white, because what happened was he volunteered to go on the block,
Right.
and no matter what happens, once you're on the block, if you don't get yourself out, they have the right to vote you out.
And that was another thing he was saying too. I volunteered to go on the block and she can't even do one thing for me. Bro, again, you volunteered, so no.
Right. And it's not like they're brothers, sisters. This alliance started a week ago, basically.
Yeah.
Because he was HOH. Now she's HOH. And they do it her way.
Yeah.
And you acquiesced and said, okay, I'll go on the block as a pawn. This is what happens. Pawns go home.
I mean, he won competitions, which is good, but he was not a good game player. Like you cannot win Big Brother like that.
It was abysmal. It was as bad as it gets. But he just would win his way out of bad situations. He didn't use a veto on himself once and still won his way out of that situation. So he's bad at the game. I don't care what anyone says. So many people are like, oh, now that Tucker's gone, who's gonna bring the drama? Who's gonna bring the Angela is still in this house.
Also, let me just say, this is the most emotional cast I have ever seen.
Yeah.
They are all bawling their eyes out every single eviction or the drop of a hat. Like, I think there's gonna be plenty of drama.
I think it's Angela. She's kind of broken the dam on that. She's just letting the tears flow.
But I just can't. A lot of the time she's crying, it doesn't even seem real to me.
No, she never really cries.
Yeah.
She's such a fake crier. And
remember when there was that one scene with Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Where she was like, afterwards, she was like, I can't cry. I'm like, she was like trying to force herself to cry.
No, yeah. Like I said, she's a fake crier.
Yeah.
She's a victim complex. She is also not fun to watch.
No.
She begged to get into the Tanks Alliance. That wasn't really real once she got included into it. And then was mad. I don't know what. That's another thing. She actually ended up. This is okay. As much as she was so annoying.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? Her move, if we just take all of the bias of it being Angela and how it happened, was actually the correct move. I don't care what Tucker says. Yeah. This is from her perspective. Even though he's saying, I'll be loyal to you. He's in a showman's and you can't beat him in a comp.
Yeah.
And if you should start the discussion that if he's on the block, he should go home.
Yeah.
She did it to the wrong people, but ultimately it was the right people because it got the thought in people's minds.
And the way she went about it was just ridiculous.
Now Tucker might have had her back more than anybody else, which is true. But maybe she could have built from the pieces of that, and she still has a chance to.
Yeah.
And then she's saying like, oh, like he's lying, and he didn't really lie to her, but it did get him out. Now maybe that goes down anyway, but it was never wrong to discuss getting him out of there,
right?
And so ultimately, getting the best competitor out of there is always the right thing to do. It's how you win the game,
right?
I'm just happy he's
and
gone.
Angela knows that. She knows the game, which is why she wanted to do that. She just, again, went about it the wrong way.
And she's just, what was another thing that happened to her where someone was like, I've got your back. You should believe me. And her instincts are way worse than Devon. Devon had a lot of like insight, and she would have reads, and you're like, yes. But then the choices she would make with that information, you'd be like, Devon, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Angela is almost the opposite in that she's low-key doing the right things, but based on the worst information.
And the way she's going about it.
Yeah, like what's his name was trying to Tucker was like, yeah, everyone, no one trusts you, and
Yeah.
they're like pinning this on you, and this is going to be a reason they rally to get you out.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't believe you, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Angela, what?
Yeah.
And it's just like that performance would have been good for a B-rate movie. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Wild.
she's so firm in her assertions, and they're just dead wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like past the point of it, and I'm way past the point of it being like, oh, she's so entertaining. She's not entertaining.
No.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Let me take a step back. Her crying over the charcuterie board.
I think she's entertaining.
That is funny.
I do think she's entertaining. I think she's annoying at times, but I do think it's entertaining.
And her doing I don't even know if it's entertaining, but it was something. The whole like crying as she was transporting the radioactive ping pong balls.
We didn't even
slot
talk
that
about
to doing the most.
Yeah, so she got a punishment in the veto, and she had to move one at a time little ping pong balls, radioactive ping pong balls into a trash can, just back and forth, and also with having to take breaks to get slimed.
Yeah.
And she, by the end of it, was just like, and listen, it was an all night thing. She started at 10 p.m. and didn't finish until 7:30 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But by the end of it, she was just like, my whole body hurts. I've never done anything so hard in my life besides childbirth. And I laugh because I think I would probably be
I know you would.
the exact same way.
You definitely would.
I mean, it was extremely dramatic and over the top, but I probably would be the exact same way.
Yeah, I think the thing with that specific challenge is the getting doused with cold water and the exhaustion.
Yeah.
And the constant movement.
Well,
so I'll give it to her. It's not, I can see that. But I'm saying if it was just that, if she was just kind of dramatic and hysterical in that way, I would be like, okay, yeah, she's a fun character to have. It reminds me of, and I don't even remember the moment with full clarity, but there's in Big Brother Canada, I remember in season 1, it was or maybe season 2, the tall gay guy, I think he was mixed, and that one time that was like in the last 3 episodes where he screams like, "Ah!"
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
something happened that made him do the most dramatic scream.
I don't remember either, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I can picture it.
Yeah, and he was like very upset, and we thought that was funny and hilarious and entertaining.
Yes,
because he was doing the most, and that's very Angela-esque.
Yes,
but Angela takes it too far and victimizes herself at every opportunity.
That is true,
and that's what I don't like.
That
is
the
victimization.
True. Well, I
one
thought
quick thing.
Yeah.
Big Brother Canada, it's hard to watch in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to, if you plan to hunt down that season, Big Brother Canadian seasons, and don't want to be spoiled, then don't listen to what I'm about to say. Like fast forward a minute or so, right? But that season is crazy for those who just want to know, because that season, that guy that we're talking about is final 2.
Yeah.
And the vote comes down to, I don't know, I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 4-4.
Yeah.
And the vote that cast the winner, the girl didn't understand how they were voting.
Yep.
So it would be like, I want you to win, but I think we're still evicting people. So I vote for the other person.
Yeah.
So they declare the other lady the winner, and the girl's like, no. I wanted, I can't remember his name. I wanted him to win. And they're like, we very clearly said, we told you you're voting for. And she was bawling.
They went back and forth and back and forth.
She was like, no, we made it clear.
It's a tough watch.
And the guy just had the grace. She's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, man, Big Brother Canada is really good.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
And it has drama if you want it, and good Big Brother.
Yeah.
So back to the
well, yeah, I thought it was very touching how supportive the house guests were. They were sitting out there with her while she was doing it and cheering her on.
That's what would get me in trouble in the house, because those first initial moments But I'd be like, guess who's going to
Oh
bed?
my
I'm not sleeping
gosh.
outside on the ground
Well,
listening
I
to
think
Angela
Joseph
cry.
did, which
Uh,
checks out.
I would go to bed and then y'all can wake me up at 7 and I'll cheer you on at the end.
Yeah.
And I get it, but it's a Big Brother punishment.
I know.
It's not supposed. You know what I mean?
I know.
The other punishment was that he had to do the AI assist thing where he just answered questions. I thought it was kind of crazy that he had to go look in the encyclopedia for himself. That was pretty cool. And then the other one is that Joseph had 24 hours of solitude, but not really solitude because AI Matt was talking.
I loved that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the way that would drive me batty. I would literally go insane.
Yeah. So those were our punishments.
And there was something else I was gonna say about that.
So while you're thinking about that, just so we don't have dead air.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know.
It was the competition was okay. The what is it called? The slingshot. It reminded me a bit of the mole.
Yeah.
And just how hard the slingshot can be.
Slingshots are notoriously tough on reality TV
was that
shows.
Villains or Goat where they had the slingshot and they just thought he was faking it?
Yes, Goat.
We didn't talk about Goat once on the pod. I think we took our extended break.
Oh.
But that was a fun show. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed that. What did you think of Daniel Tosh on Goat?
He was funny at times, dumb at others.
You laughed so hard at him. Okay. That was a layup because I thought you were gonna be like, I thought he was so funny. You would be bawling at his jokes.
You know how I feel about comedians.
Why don't you tell our audience?
I just don't. I
don't have a sense of humor.
No, my sense of humor is different than theirs.
Than every comedian. That means you don't have a sense of humor.
I don't think stand-up comedians are that funny.
That's crazy. Wow. People, just take note of what you're seeing.
Sorry.
And what Brooke's submitting.
Sorry.
I'll look this up in the DSM later.
Okay.
So now the lay of the land is we've got the feeds up on this episode. While we're recording this episode, if we find out who the next HOH is, from the feeds, we'll alert y'all. But
it doesn't look like they've even played it yet, huh?
Well, they're probably playing it right now. Is my point. So
it came on for a minute, but then it went back to this.
Well, so what I was saying is, if they finish the HOH competition.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay. Brooke, take it away. Go ahead. Go ahead. So you go, Brooke.
The deep fakes. The AI instigator.
Lame.
And then they voted. I didn't vote. We should have probably voted. They voted to give Tucker $20,000 for that.
Well, I saw a Twitter poll where it was like, how much do we want to give him? And I voted $0. And it was overwhelmingly 20,000. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, well, he's getting it.
I mean, I will say the one he did about him and Rubina and Pentagon for Life was pretty good. But then what was the other one? He could have done so much more, I feel like.
The issue is he had already exposed so much on his last HOH. So much is already out in the open. And as much as he is an agent of chaos, I don't know if he's a messy gossiper. And that's who needed to win AI Instigator.
True.
Put Quinn in there, he would have had them saying foul stuff.
True.
Even Aaliyah, I think, but I don't know what she would have had to go on. I don't know about
Leah.
But
Quinn would have been great in there. You're right. Yes. Angela even probably would have been pretty good
but
too.
Angela's would have been lame ultimately because it would have been stuff like Rubina is not girl power, good friend. Mackenzie is not girl bossing.
Well, and then Tucker tried to get everyone to believe that it was Angela, and she was like,
want people to believe it was Angela.
Oh, he was just like telling her everyone thinks it's you.
Right.
And she's like, why would I do that? Everything that they've said has been lame and uninteresting. Or something
Which I was like, good read.
Yeah.
See, that's why I was like, it was kind of a bust.
Yeah.
But what I will commend production on is they have spent the money to those are good deep fakes.
Oh yeah.
Now, how good they look in live, we won't know. But in production, they look great.
What was the second one that we got?
What do you
The
mean?
first one was was Quinn talking about Rubina and Tucker. And then what was the other one we saw?
We saw tons. So
I don't remember
the order.
seeing them all. I must have accidentally skipped that part.
I don't know. So we saw from Tucker. We saw one from Angela. We saw one from Rubina. We saw one from Quinn. We saw
I
one
missed
from
all of that.
Chemo. There were tons. Everybody was in there. On the feeds, there was one from T-Core.
What?
So yeah, someone drove by the window. So yeah, that was just a bust. But what I was saying is that production did they spent the big bucks, and I'm sorry that these have been kind of flops. Before the house guests knew this technology was possible, Quinn exposed that he was going to be the deep fake.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been a real shock.
Yeah.
They could have really had to figure that out.
Right.
The stuff from Tucker was lame. They knew it was one of the house guests, but they, it wasn't really anything of importance. The coolest thing that's happened is, now I don't know, they made it seem like it was continuous. If they had a continuous stream of Matt in the Matrix room talking for 24 hours, first of all, it takes, that's however long of audio that they had of Matt talking. Synthesizing that takes some time, and I'm sure CBS has the resources to do it. But just committing to that, I thought was really cool. But mostly, and that's more the speech synthesis of it. They're calling it AI. They really just, typed a script into there and had a computer read the voice.
Yeah.
That got really nerdy. I don't think anyone cared about what I was saying, but I thought they did really good with that. And I liked that they went all out for that. Man, what else? Anything? Did we miss anything, Big Brother? Okay, anything we missed, we'll catch in this segment. Who are our favorite and least favorites? You got your favorite, your least favorite, and who you think's gonna win.
Favorite is Chelsea.
Okay.
Least favorite right now is Joseph. I don't know.
Okay. Wow.
He has a bad attitude, and he's boring.
He's super boring.
And he's like, he acts like he doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah.
And I yeah. And who I think is gonna win? I don't know. I feel like maybe T-Core.
Okay.
People might be coming after her after this HOH, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she's in a good place.
She's in an okay place, but I do think this HOH elevated her on people's radar, especially she took out Tucker. That's a big thing on her resume. So I would say my favorite is T-Core. My least favorite is, for the conceivable future, immediate future, whatever that saying is, Angela. I can't stand her. And who do I think is likely to win? I think T-Core and Chemo are going to go far, and I think Chemo is going to have less blood on his hands and be seen as a lesser of a threat, but he'll be able to take credit for his and T-Core's actions, and I can see him winning. So that's my predictions. Showman's Watch. I think we're gonna have to bring a moratorium on Showman's Watch because this is the end.
Yeah, it's done. I think, Tucker and Rubina, they let the whole house know this week that they were together, loud and proud. And then he left. So
he did cry for her. He seemed like it was real on the outside.
He did, yeah. Did they tell each other they loved each other?
I didn't see that.
Okay, I don't think I saw that either. But would I be surprised? No.
They're real they really have real feelings for each other.
Rubina's ready to move in New York for him.
Yeah, it's been clear for a long time that she's anyways. And then also Leah shut down Quinn. Well, she didn't shut him down, but in the diary room she's like, I have zero attraction for him. Yeah. Now the only thing that could possibly happen at this point, I think, realistically, is if Leah and Cam remain in the house
Yeah.
for another month or so.
Yeah.
And just out of contact, a little flirtation happens.
Yeah.
Because there was a little bit of that at the beginning. Maybe that rekindles when there's nothing else going on.
Yeah.
And they realize, man, okay, you know. But aside from that, slim pickings.
Yeah. Boring. Boring.
Which, you know, some people hate showmances. Some people come to see a little showmance. We're showmans.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so is that it for Big Brother this week? Okay. That's it for Big Brother this week. But fear not, the podcast episode is not over. Wait, do you have Big Buzz?
No.
Okay, well,
sorry, I'm really not doing my best on that these days.
Because the podcast isn't over. We have another. Actually, this could have been 5 podcasts, maybe not, but we have Love Is Blind UK. We had the finale, and we already talked about that in a previous episode. Just look at the episodes, 2 episodes before this one, but we didn't get a chance to talk about the reunion. And so, let's cover what we can about the reunion. We watched it when it came out. Was that Monday?
Yeah.
Or Sunday?
Monday,
and we had a surprise right off the bat.
Yeah.
We saw that Sabrina and Steven,
first and foremost,
weren't sitting next to each
our
other.
golden couple has separated, shockingly, and it was like they were like combative. Like they were not even in
terms.
A friend place. Like
Yeah.
they were like, we crashed and burned, baby.
It was horror. It was sad to watch.
Yeah.
I was editing our finale episode coverage after having seen the reunion. And we were just like, oh yeah, Steven and Sabrina, man.
Yeah, they're solid.
Yeah, we have 0 doubts. They're going to make it. We're going to go a long time. They didn't make it.
I think you said it best. You said they didn't really have any struggles. So then when they did face some struggles, they just like truly did not work together to get through it.
Right, because when you're deciding, do I want to marry this person? Oftentimes, most people go through conflict, struggles, and you see how that person handles conflict. You see how they handle struggles.
Right.
You see how they handle distance. You see how they handle...
And I think that was part of it seemed like that was part of the problem, was that they were long distance.
Yeah.
And they weren't, and you know what? On the very last episode, she said, like, I think he'll come live in Belfast. And he said, I think we'll live in London. And I was like, uh-oh, they have not talked about that. And that was pretty apparent when they were kind of rehashing what had gone down.
Yeah, there's oh, go ahead.
Well, I just was going to say, but then it also sounded like he had pretty significant money troubles.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We were getting her perspective, his perspective. You know, the reality isn't always somewhere in the middle exactly, but it is, you know, it has to be somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean? But maybe not the exact middle. But anyways, yes, it did seem like he lost a lot of his business and was scrambling hard. They hinted about, oh, that was hard for you bouncing back, you know what I mean? She said, I had to buy, you Uber or something when you wanted to go to the gym when you were in Belfast. He said he couldn't come for Christmas because he didn't take care of his finances and couldn't afford presumably a plane ticket to travel to go see her.
But she didn't like the way that he just like made it like it was no big deal, and it was like the day before he was supposed to leave.
Right. And then communication was also an issue, and that he said she didn't like to talk. He doesn't like to talk on the phone unless there's something to talk about. Which I'm like,
that would drive me nuts.
More power to you.
You know me. I was calling you like, remember in the beginning I would call you every day after work.
Still.
Well, I still do, but I was just like, yeah. So I verbatim remember being like, yeah. So I'm probably just gonna call you after work every day now. Yeah. And you were like, okay.
Yeah, that's
Did we have a lot to talk about? No.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, I mean, that's just how. Sometimes people can be. They just want to talk. But he's not a yapper. Thankfully, we're both yappers.
Yeah.
Hence the podcast mics. But yeah, so they had communication issues. They had money issues. And not only that, they seem to just kind of have compatibility issues on how they saw things.
Well,
Those
it
are
just didn't
things.
there was no compromise, no bending on either's end.
Well, it sounds like she did go.
It sounded like she tried.
Yeah, so I don't want to say there's no compromise. It didn't sound like she was obstinate and didn't want to do anything, but um it just felt like a lot of those times you can work through things like that when you really love someone, and it's not only about love but a willingness to work through someone, like they, you know what I'm saying. But when you decide that they're not worth it to work through, that's how you end up sitting on separate couches at the reunion episode.
True.
This was not like Love is Blind Mexico where they had a reunion circle that lit up, so that was a minus.
That is a unique Love is Blind Mexico thing.
Exactly. They needed that, but they didn't have it on the UK.
Yes.
Also sitting separately, even though they didn't get engaged, but they kind of was like up in the air where they're gonna date. We saw Ollie and Demi.
Yeah.
Listen. Ultimately it was right.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be together.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to end up together, I'm glad that it happened in a way where Demi got to feel confident in herself.
Same.
Make the decision for herself.
Same.
And not be brokenhearted.
Same. And I feel like we need to say this too, because I was recently just listening to our other podcast too, and we were talking about how they really painted this picture of like Ollie's not gonna like Demi because of her looks, and Ollie was like, I just need to speak up on that because that was never the case.
Yeah.
I've dated lots of people who look very similar to her body wise.
Yeah.
And I don't really appreciate that they kind of painted me in that light. And I really like that he did that. And then Demi called out Kat for saying, yeah, I don't think that they're going to work out in the real world, but I don't want my mouth to get me in trouble.
Yeah, Catherine had a lot of things that she had to kind of own up to, but
not really on the reunion. They went so easy on her.
I'm just saying, I meant it like this. There are a lot of things that Catherine did that she deserved to own up to. I'm not saying that she did. But she was so checked out, and she handled it the best way you can if you don't care anymore. Or if you just wanted to move on, is just to go like, yep, I said that. I didn't mean it that way, but yeah, you're valid, and move on. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way you can do it. It can be frustrating because you want to be like, no, you have to just. But we saw from Catherine on a TikTok of a radio interview she gave prior where it's so clear she doesn't care. She was with someone else from the pod.
Yeah, she said she's dating someone new from the pod. They've been living together for like a year now.
Right.
Which means they got together very shortly after.
Right, and it also means that like if you've been dating someone for a year, that ex from a year ago is a long time ago.
Yeah.
So her and Freddie is old news to her. The show, it's just one of her many dating reality shows that she's been on.
It's just weird that they didn't. I mean, that they didn't even talk to her about that. There was so many things that they didn't even it was just like the very end. They talked to Kat and Freddie and asked them like what had happened.
Right.
And they were basically like, yeah, just didn't really work out. And that was pretty much it. They didn't talk to her about her flirting with Sam. They didn't talk. They kind of talked about the earrings.
Right.
But they didn't. We also heard on another podcast that she had actually changed out her ring after she talked to Sam.
Right.
She went and bought herself the ring she really wanted. Right. So then the matching earrings matched that ring.
Right.
So we didn't hear any of that on the reunion.
Right. Yeah, no, she got off the hook easy, but she didn't dwell on it. She's clearly moved on.
Yeah.
Freddie was, he was still being very kind to her and respectful.
Yeah,
and they were both like, oh, we're gonna be such good friends. She was like, oh, you even changed me for the better, so there was no ill will. Seemingly, sister Barry was like sitting there like,
yeah,
and I was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I liked that. She was like, I have zero regrets. I'm glad I spoke up.
Right.
But then another thing was Kat was like, Freddie is so funny. I just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. I'm like, Dude, you literally were like annoyed at him for being funny, for trying to be funny.
Well, I think she's seen the response to Freddie from the public, and I think she's kind of playing into that. If I had to guess,
Yeah.
and playing that because she knows people's liked his free caregiving, carefree, attitude, and he was very still kind of calculated, but they even acknowledged that his sister acknowledged he wasn't his normal self. She had said it before.
Yeah.
Now, Freddie, like Jonathan online, is just the most popular man online.
Oh yeah.
Girls love the women. Love Freddie.
They love Freddie.
They are ride or die for Freddie. He seems like a good guy. I don't think we've last of him.
Oh yeah, he'd probably be on Perfect Match.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get Freddie and Jessica.
No, people have been saying that. Why would we want Jessica to? Why would we risk that on anybody? Jessica sucks.
I just feel like
no, Jessica sucks.
Okay, sorry.
Why would we want? I would never want to hook her up with any. Any of my friends. Anybody that I care about. Freddie's a good guy.
Okay. Wow. Harsh. You're gonna get canceled for that.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
There's a strong anti-Jessica contingent that I'm a card-carrying member of.
Wow.
Okay. And when are you Jessica's number one fan?
I don't know.
I'm shocked. Why are you?
For some reason, I just
are you
thought,
on her PR team?
For some reason, I just thought they might make a good match.
No.
Okay.
Okay, and so what other couples we've got before we get to Nicole and Benaya? They had Sam come out.
Such a waste of time.
And he also was. It did not go at all how he wanted and anticipated. I'm sure in his 5 minutes of fame to go, he was called out for his behavior, how he acted, and what I really liked the most. I think is the most I'll say on it is he was talking and they said, do you have any regrets for bringing up the thing? And he was like, I was talking, blah, 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 blah. And Jimmy finally was like, apologize to Nicole.
That was the best.
Please,
Jimmy's
apologize.
The best.
And he finally did. And that's really all we needed.
And then Nicole was like, why did you even say that? It was a lie. And he was like, I know.
Yeah.
It was a lie the whole time.
Yeah.
The lies.
Yeah. So that's all we really needed or I want and care about from Sam is that he apologized, and he did. By force almost though. Let's see. What else happened on the reunion?
Tom and Maria.
Oh, snooze fest.
Well, I think, when they broke up, Maria really didn't have much to say. But on the reunion, she was like, you disrespected my whole family. She was like, you were talking about how we had such different values on, what a strong, independent woman looks like. And you basically said, my whole, you were basically dogging my whole family who are all strong, independent women.
Yeah, you said you want your daughters to be raised by, as to be strong, independent women. Which insinuates that her mother didn't raise her and her sister to be that.
Yeah.
And so she was just people, they were asking, like, did you, like it at all? She's like, yeah, we had some good times. She was not like, it was a beautiful relationship that I learned a lot from. He was very much like, no, we were not meant to work out.
But do you think that she was going to say yes? Or did she say yes? I can't remember.
No,
you don't think she was?
Yes, no.
Okay. Because I don't know. I almost thought she...
No, definitely not.
Okay.
And then they cut to Tash and they were like, so was there, and she was also like, oh, actually, no, I also don't like Tom.
Yeah.
I used to at one point, but I also watched this season and no.
Yeah. I mean? And she also was kind of like, it's such a long time ago, y'all. Like,
yeah. And so they had that. Again, it was, maybe it was more if we were coming off the finale, but the momentum with them, I feel, ended way before the altar, and having them sit next together on the couch.
Yeah.
We all knew they weren't together. There was no shock or surprise.
Yeah.
But thinking of Tash did make me think of Aaron, who was Aaron was a guy who was on the show in the cast,
Oh
but
yeah.
and was just seemingly Ollie's best bud.
Yeah.
And he sat next to Shauna, I believe was her,
Shauna Shalisha?
whatever her name was. We'll call her we'll just call her the other castmate. And they hinted that Ollie and her were seeing each other, and they
Yeah.
actually she spoke on it. She's just like, it was so hard, and having Ollie by my side, it's
Yeah.
just been. She was very. It was like
She was
sentimental.
like, watching it back was so hard, but having him by my side was so helpful. I'm like, what? You weren't even barely on the show.
Yeah, and so then Ollie, ever the vague guy, he's like, yeah, she's a good gal. We're just really exploring some things, and yeah, I'll just leave it at. And like, okay, y'all are dating.
That's kind of how I felt like he was with Demi too. Like he never seemed like he was fully all in.
You know what this situation kind of reminded me of? Not in the couples are exact same, but okay, the confusion at the finale, at the reunion. Ollie is with a girl who was also in the pods, but they aren't fully like saying we're together.
Mm-hmm.
And then Demi just has to ask, like, are y'all
Yeah.
together? It reminded me of Gerardo and Fernanda and Mafer,
Yeah.
where they were like, are y'all together? And Gerardo like kisses Mafer and like, wait, what?
But they're not
And then,
together.
yeah.
That's so crazy.
So I don't know. It's not. We don't have confirmed that Ollie's with that girl, but we also kind of are like, we guess you are.
But something happened.
Yeah. So that was that. And then our power couple. I do believe Benaya and Nicole are going to stick together. They have
yeah.
a good pace. They're
Yeah.
traveling, seeing their like photos and trips.
Yeah.
Seem like they're having fun. They seem to be on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
She can pronounce their last name, Gundewald Rinder or whatever her name. Bridey. Yeah, and so that was cute. But I think the successful couple, the couple that proves that love is blind in the United Kingdom, is Bobby and Jasmine.
Bobby and Jasmine.
They're
still going strong.
You call them your favorite couple.
They're my favorite couple. Yeah. They got a place together in London. He moved immediately. Her mom has come around on him a little bit.
Right.
It seems like things are going well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
She said something too, really, I thought was really good about like we are like working together. Something about like working together. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, they were talking about. I know exactly the moment you're talking about where she was talking about. Man, they talked about her spicy side. He said he liked that.
Yeah.
But no, there was something that came out where she had to say, like, I have to work on that. Okay, he was talking about the cell phone usage and jealous. She said, yes, he's proven that to me, but I also had to, like, look within and show, work on that things for myself.
Yeah.
As a team. They're really committed to each other.
Yeah.
They seem to really like each other. They're both very attracted to each other.
Mm-hmm.
The mom is on board. The mom said she's had 110% support for Bobby.
Yeah, she did.
And coming from her,
that's
a strong endorsement.
Yeah.
So Bobby's handling his business. Keep it up, Bobby. They said they're trying for kids. He said at this very moment. I was like, well, not at this very moment.
Oh yeah, they did say that.
But they're in the midst, so who knows? We might be having our another Love Is Blind baby here pretty soon, and I think they're just. I mean, the news is all good news. Their pictures and their videos were good. It just seems to be going great.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's it for Love Is Blind, huh?
I think so.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you listening to the podcast. Thanks for watching all the shows with us and coming here to get our insight and our takes on it. And if you want to hear more than just our good takes, we're on YouTube as well.
Yes. Before we go, I have some roses to give out.
Yeah, give out your roses.
So I think we gave one to Demi last week, but I want to give another golden rose to Demi for really just loving herself and being proud and being confident in who she is at the reunion, and just being like not being like this experiment really helped me. you know?
Yeah.
And she may not have found love, but she knows what she deserves, and she knows that she's good enough for she needs someone on her level, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm giving her a rose.
Okay.
And then I also want to give a gold rose to Julie Chen because her outfit tonight was so good.
I didn't even pay attention.
She had on like a red sundress with
Yeah.
red shoes.
Okay.
It was so cute. The shoes were so cool.
Very cool.
It was super cute.
And I think that's it.
I think so. You don't have any to give out?
Not this time.
Okay.
Well, we thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not watching us on YouTube, why not go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. Everyone's got a YouTube, YouTube account. Subscribe so you can see our videos on there, or you can follow us at The People's Rose on social media. Get clips on TikTok and Instagram, and see our comments elsewhere. And then if you're listening on podcasts, just go ahead and subscribe. So we just show up in your feed, ready to whenever we post, so you can hear the latest and greatest of our reality TV takes. So we thank you for listening, and we hope you hear from us next week. Brooke, is that it?
That's it.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.